Hey, what's up? My name is Robert Michelle and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk to you about investing. Well, sort of investing. I mean, you read the title. This is basically what you should do before you start investing. Now, when I started investing, I literally just jumped right into it. I did my own DD and I figured out what I wanted to invest in before, and then I jumped right in. I was watching a lot of videos that inspired me to invest because all these people were saying how we were on a downward trajectory due to the pandemic. How if you buy the dip now, it could be like when you started investing after the 2008 crash, and there's nowhere to go but up from here. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm super happy that I jumped right into investing, but what I'm most proud of is that I did it after becoming debt-free. Now, if you watched my last video, you'll definitely know and understand that I had a problem with keeping my credit card balances at zero. Every chance I would get, I would max them out on stupid purchases that I didn't even remember or multi-level marketing scams. And this is just something that you should not do. So, as I said before, today's video is going to be on what you should do before you even start thinking about investing. The first thing that you should do is get out of your credit card debt. So I was scrolling through the interweb and I actually found an article from debt.org stated, according to the New York Federal Reserve, consumer debt reached $14.56 billion after the fourth quarter of 2020. So I did some Googling and figured out that there are roughly 329.5 million. Is that how you say that? 329 and a half. 329.5 million people in America. So I did my dope math skills and divided $14.56 billion by 329.5 million people and came up with the amount of $44.19 per person. And then I realized this literally has nothing to do with what I was talking about, and I definitely did the math wrong. I scratched that because I was trying to make a dope point and show you guys my math skills, but it definitely backfired. But reading further in the same article, I found out that 191 million Americans have at least 2 credit cards and a household debt totaling $5,315 on average. Now, according to policyadvice.net, the median income for 2019 was roughly $34,248.25 annually. This means that if you held that $5,315 of debt, that equated to 15.5% of your annual income automatically from the start. Not to mention, on these credit cards, the average APR rate is 15.10 to 18.04% per year, meaning you will be paying an extra $802.57 to $958.52 on top of that $5,000 that you owe the banks. This extra charge is not even helping you pay down your debts at all. It's just extra money for the credit card companies, assuming you don't pay your full balance off every month like you should. Oh, this is such a waste of money, and you need to get out of this debt like ASAP Rocky. So you may be asking how? How can I get out of this debt that has plagued my family since the dawn of time? Well, there are 2 specific methods that I found that I personally like to use, and these are very well known in the finance space for getting out of debt easy. And those 2 methods are the avalanche effect and the snowball effect. Now, my personal favorite is the avalanche effect, and that's when you throw everything you have into the card that has the highest APR rate while still paying the minimums on all your other cards. That way you don't have a late payment. Now, I knew I was never going to be able to pay the full card off every month, so by me paying the minimum plus everything extra that I could on my credit card that had the highest APR, I was able to knock it out quickly and then move on to the next highest APR card and then use that minimum payment plus whatever amount I was allocating to the first card and then pay that card off even faster, and then rinse and repeat for every other debt that you owe. Now, on the other hand, you have the snowball effect. This is where you start with your lowest amount of debt and you pay that off, and then you start working your way up to the higher APR or the more debt that you owe. So starting from, say, $50 that you owe, you pay that off first, and then you work your way up to the next one, say $100, then so on and so forth. Now, this method is pretty dope because you get instant gratification by seeing those little amounts start to disappear, which psychologically is like a win for you. The problem is this could actually take longer to pay off all of your debt, and that's because while you're paying the minimum payments on your high APR cards, you're not likely to cover the entire APR charge and the minimum payment with just that minimum payment. You're not really getting anywhere with your high APR cards until you're completely done paying off all your lower debts. And so that brings me to, you are finally out of debt, but you are not in the clear yet. You like how that rhymed, huh? Now, there's one more step before you should start investing that you should really, really look into. And a ton of finance people will tell you the same thing, and that is starting an emergency fund. Now, 69% of adult Americans don't even have $1,000 in their savings account. And in 2019, around 45% of adult Americans were actually unable to save a penny of their paycheck. Literally nothing. So this is basically to protect you from any emergencies that you have. Because the last thing you want to do is to finally get out of debt, feel amazing, just to roll back into debt because you can't cover these expenses that were unexpected. Now, the rule of thumb is to take all of your bills and add them up, everything that's a necessity for the month, and save that amount. You should have at least 3 months of savings for all your necessities. Me personally, I like the method where I use 6 months, and that's just a peace of mind thing. You really don't have to. And if you really want to get crazy with it, a lot of people actually save 12 months, but I'm cool with 6 months. Now, once all of those steps are done, getting out of debt, whether you pick the avalanche effect or the snowball effect, and then saving 3 to 6, maybe even 12 months, depending on your risk, you're now ready to start investing. And I know what you're probably thinking, at least this is what I was thinking when I was trying to get out of debt. Don't worry about losing out on the market before, because as the saying goes, there's no time like the present to start investing. And yeah, you may have lost out on some gains in the past, but at least now you'll have a peace of mind going into your investments that you don't have all of these bills and payments, APR rates, everything's at zero. You're at a clean slate. You have a savings to fall back on if you need it for emergencies, so you actually don't have to pull out of your investments, which would suck because then you get taxed on them, assuming that you made gains. And what goes up must come down. The market is always going to go up. It's always going to go down. So just buy when you can and make sure you have a plan. Now, paying off these debts and saving this money is actually going to help you with your patience and tolerance. Now, for me, it taught me patience because I was just learning how to invest and I was so eager to jump into the market head first without getting anything situated. And I needed these patience for when I started actually investing. And that's because when I first started investing, the market was actually going up and I assumed that it was the easiest thing in the world. And then the market started to fall. But then I remembered a little piece of advice that I kept seeing on all of these videos, and that advice was buy the dip. So I bought the dip and it kept dropping. So I bought the dip again and it kept dropping, and so on and so forth. And what that did was teach me patience because I was actually very impatient, almost to the point where I wanted to sell out because I really didn't believe in the market and I was scared that I was losing my money. Then the market turned around and now we're having a decent time. So patience, 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 patience is key. And obviously this is not financial advice, but I just wanted to give you some clarity on what you should probably think about doing before you start investing. You don't want to be stressed. You want to make sure that you're investing everything that you are willing to lose just in case. And also, please do your own due diligence. Don't just blindly follow anybody that you see on YouTube or any random person that tells you what you should buy and what you shouldn't buy. If you believe in the company, you use the product, invest in it. If you want, of course. So I want to thank you for spending this time with me. It might be a quick video, but this is some advice and some things that I used to help me on my investment journey as a beginner when I first started back in January of 2021, which is this year right now. Also, if you want to get started investing, use the public link down below in the description. Get yourself $70 free of the stock of your choice by using my code Robert Michelle. And if you're interested in crypto, go ahead and hit the Voyager link down in the bottom as well. And I guess that's it for today. I'll see you in the next video.